We begin this hour in Ukraine after one of the biggest Russian missile assaults since the start of the Russian invasion. Let's go straight to the capital, Kyiv. Our senior international correspondent, Ben Wiedemann, is on the ground for us. Ben, so what are you seeing and hearing over there?
Well, what we heard at about 9 o'clock this morning, local time, Wolf, was several loud explosions. According to the mayor of Kyiv, 16 Russian missiles were fired at the capital. They were all intercepted, but in some cases, the interceptions led to debris falling to the ground. We went to two separate residential areas where homes were destroyed, people were injured. This is what some of the residents in those areas told us. She was really scared, in hysterics, Tatiana says. She cried, "Grandma, the house was hit. It's on fire." She told me, "My mother is unconscious under the rubble." How is it possible that we do this to each other, he asks. I understand that this rocket didn't target this place, but how is it possible to shell peaceful people? And peaceful people, in fact, 3 people were killed in these strikes, 2 in the eastern city of Kharkiv and 1 in the Donetsk region. And of course, these strikes, this is the 10th round of these massive nationwide strikes conducted by the Russians. And of course, they did in some instances get missiles through. In the city of Kharkiv, 4 missiles hit what's being described as critical infrastructure. And we got a statement just a little while ago, Wolf, from the head of the power company, putting a somewhat darker turn to this day when many Ukrainian officials were happy with the amount of missiles that were intercepted. The head of the power company said that there has been significant damage to the power generating system in Ukraine, and he said the company is having difficulty providing electricity to restoring electricity to parts of Kharkiv, Kyiv, Odessa, Mykolaiv, Kherson, and Lviv. That's basically all the major cities in Ukraine. So they may be taking some comfort, Ukrainian officials, from the fact that they were able to intercept 54 out of the 69 missiles fired today, in addition to 11 drones. But clearly, significant damage has been wreaked upon the already battered electrical system here in Ukraine. Wolf?
Yeah, it's cold over there in winter. Awful situation. Ben Wiedemann, thank you very, very much. Stay safe over there. Let's get some more on what's going on. Joining us now, CNN military analyst and retired General Wesley Clark, the former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, also with a CNN contributor on Russian affairs, Jill Doherty. General Clark, this is one of the biggest missile attacks of the war by the Russians, targeting, as we heard, energy infrastructure across the country. What is Russia trying to accomplish at this stage of the war by going after these civilian targets?
Well, I think 3 things. Number one is to keep the Ukrainian government and people in a state of discomfort, to pound them, to show them that Russia is still there while their ground forces are in a strategic defensive posture. I think number 2, if they believe that they can knock out the energy infrastructure, it will keep Ukraine from rebuilding its military production facilities and make it much harder for Ukraine to be prepared for the next Russian onslaught. And 3, I think it shows to the West the powerful Russian attack, the fact that they're relentless, and it's part of trying to discourage the West from supporting Ukraine and making people in the West say, oh, it's hopeless, it's a never-ending war, we have to get a ceasefire, blah, blah, blah. So it's all part of an integrated Russian plan.
Jill, Ukraine's intelligence chief now says this war is at what he calls a stalemate, with neither side capable of making substantial gains. What's the mood inside Russia right now as this fighting drags on?
Well, I think, for the people of Russia, sometimes it's very hard to say what their mood is. Some of them support it. Obviously, a lot of them do not. But I think if you look at what the Russian government is doing, and I definitely agree with the general, this is a time in that region. It's, as you said, cold. These holidays, the New Year's holiday, which is just upon us, is really one of the biggest holidays of the year, and to keep pounding Ukrainians, remove any type of hope that this is ever going to end. And then also today we had statements by the foreign minister and the spokesperson for the foreign ministry saying any idea that we are going to agree to the peace settlement that Zelensky has proposed, forget it, it is delusional. And so I think what they're trying to do is exactly put up that front and say, this is never going to end. And it's a message both to Ukrainians and I think to the Russian people too, but also to the West. Don't even think that this is going to end, and you will have to keep supporting them. I totally agree that this is a very organized approach at this point.
General Clark, do you see anything breaking the stalemate right now? Potentially the arrival of even more U.S. and other weapons, Western weapons?
I think it's going to be difficult to break out of and break through the Russian defenses that are there without significantly more U.S. military assistance. Most important thing that the Ukrainians need is long-range loitering munitions, something similar to the Iranian drones. They need to be able to go back beyond the HIMARS range and go after the Russian supply depots and command posts that have been moved out of range. And they need the intelligence to go after the improved Russian defenses, the trench system. And I hear some military advisors saying, well, you know, the Ukrainians have to understand they can't beat the Russians with artillery, blah, blah, blah. You can't match them tube for tube. Well, you know, that may be what we say because we don't have that artillery. But this war is rapidly evolving into a World War I kind of trench warfare where the Russians are really emplacing their positions in Donbass. And it is going to take a mass of fire support, not necessarily artillery, could be aircraft, but we're not giving them the aircraft they need. So
Yeah,
we've got a lot to do to help the Ukrainians.
good point indeed. General Wesley Clark, Jill Doherty, guys, thank you very much.